Perceive that which cannot be seen with the eye. Miyamoto Musashi. My friends, that is what you learn each and every day from following these charts, from practicing, from learning the nuances. 10 to 15 minutes each and every day, that is all we ask. If you haven't seen my In the Driver's Seat video for this week, please check it out at the YouTube channel. It is all about how often you should be checking the charts when you're in a trade. Very helpful. Let's jump into what's going on. We see for the day, and I'm going to switch out of my post-market to my regular hours. We see for the day, everything is up save Bitcoin futures, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. S&P 500 up over 1%. NASDAQ 100 up almost 2%. 20-year bonds up 0.75%. Gold just barely up. Let's look at what's going on with the S&P. Big green up candle forming for the week. Looks like we may very well have a weekly vertical crossover going up. That would be great news. We look at the 2-day chart. Oh, well, let me tell you what's up with the price percent oscillator. It's heading up. Derivative oscillators turn green on that weekly chart. 2-day price percent oscillator continuing move up. Derivative oscillator continuing to gain upward momentum. First day of the latest 2-day candle floating up quite nicely, getting up toward those Bollinger Bands that are, of course, spreading out. Why? Because Bollinger Bands are what? They're volatility bands. When volatility decreases, they get closer together. When volatility increases, they get farther apart. That's why we use them to be able to quickly, as we do with all these things on the chart, see what's going on and what price movement is telling us. We go from the 2-day to the half-day. We can see it's up in the morning, slacking off a little bit. In the afternoon, price percent oscillator moving up, derivative oscillator heading up. Things are looking nice for that weekly vertical crossover at the end of the week. What about the NASDAQ 100? Up about 0.5% more than the S&P, 1.72% for the day. Looks like that's closing in on a weekly vertical crossover if things maintain for the next 3 days. Nice green up candle, derivative oscillators gone green. 2-day chart continuing to just move up nicely on both the derivative oscillator and the price percent oscillator. Both of those continuing to move up. Nice big green up candle forming. We look at the half day, and again, booming up in the morning, a little bit more actually in the afternoon. That is where we are on stocks. Nice little rally there underway. What about 20-year bonds? Up 0.76%. Now, bonds have seen a lot of downward pressure. Still have a lot of downward pressure on the weekly chart. Derivative oscillator backing off a little bit. Price percent oscillator too, but still heading down quite strongly. Solid green candle, not reaching a lower low. A solid green means a slowdown in the down movement. Still, price is still well below the weekly trend line. 2-day, you can see the first spinning green top, first open box green top we have seen going all the way back to the beginning of March. Derivative oscillator still negative, losing some downward momentum. Price percent oscillator is negative, but heading up a little bit. First day of the latest 2-day candle. And we see on the half day where we have up movement in the morning and then again in the afternoon. Not a lot of up movement, but again, some of the first decent up movement we've seen, at least on that 2-day chart, in quite a while. But keep in mind, everything but the short chart, that is the weekly and the 2-day, which is what wraps up the majority of the strength in our movements, is down. Now, let's go on to gold. Gold just barely up for the day, 0.04. So that's 0.4%. We do see that the price percent oscillator is still positive on the weekly, as is the derivative oscillator. It's losing momentum. Price percent oscillator is still positive, but heading down. Red down candle for the week. Remember, gold peaked back on the week ending the 11th of March, and since then has been devolving. We look at the 2-day, it crossed over heading down. It's not a 2-day recross, it's just a crossover going down. back on Friday the 18th of March, then down 2 days after that, up 2 days, sliding sideways 2 days. First day of this latest one, down candle is drawing. And remember, even though it was up a little bit for the day, these are Heikin Ashi candlesticks. Price percent oscillator heading down, derivative oscillator heading down half day. You can see down in the morning recovering some in the afternoon. Price percent oscillator heading down, derivative oscillator heading down. So what happened? Gold recovered a little bit in the afternoon. Still lots of downward pressure on the 2-day. Lots of downward pressure on the half day, but overall that weekly still positive. We do see down movement as far as price flow goes, but no weekly vertical crossover yet. What are we holding out for? Hoping for a 2-day recross going up soon. And again, it hit its most recent low back on the 16th of March. So we would love to see it not go any lower than that or much lower than that and start heading up again. But not sure that's going to be happening. A lot of strength pushing it down on that 2-day. So that is where we are, and we will continue to keep an eye on things. I want to get back into gold. That last trade was really good to me there in early March. So let's lastly go to Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin up to? Well, if we look, we look at Grayscale Bitcoin, it was up 0.18%. We look at the futures on Bitcoin, down about 0.5% on BITO, 0.7% on BTF, and XBTF down 0.57%. But if we look at our weekly chart, we can see that, and we'll go to New York Stock Exchange Bitcoin Index. And again, remember folks, Bitcoin is traded on Bitcoin exchanges. That is where the New York Stock Exchange gets its numbers from. Various Bitcoin exchanges, they're looking at calculations that they think they can count on. So the nice thing is, even though we only get limited reporting on the New York Stock Exchange Bitcoin Index, the way that they have it set up and qualify these numbers, we notice that overall these charts move very similar to sort of an amalgam of the other charts. And I just tend to trust the numbers I'm getting from the New York Stock Exchange more as to where things are actually going to play out. And the chart works. We've used the chart for many, many months, and we will continue to do so. Looks like we have a weekly vertical crossover, very strong so far. That could change if we had Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday strong down days in Bitcoin. You could see that blue price percent oscillator pull right back through the red signal line. I don't think that's going to be happening. Red up candle forming for the week, price percent oscillator heading up 2-day. We can see where we've got a nice candle. Have we reached a higher high? High 47,844. Prior 2-day candle 47,575. So yes, we have gone up higher. So that's good to see. Derivative oscillator heading up, price percent oscillator heading up, as I said. And let's go to something like XBTF to take a look at what went on during the day. You can see where things have slowed down as far as the movement goes, where things were peaking and slowing down quite a bit. Price percent oscillator slowed down at the end of the day. Derivative oscillator did too. Red open box candles, but again, this is our smallest chart. When we look at the strength that we see in that 2-day candle, we can see that things are still trying to move ahead. So we'll keep our eye on things, see where they go, and if we have that weekly vertical crossover in Bitcoin by the end of the week, I would sure like to see it because I'm ready to jump in on another successful practice trade. God bless my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.